Did Twitch flag Hasan's interview, triggering the text alert? There's no way to know. I don't think they did. I don't think they did that. Because if they had done so, they would have banned me already, for the record. Yeah, Ken is correct. They could further prolong your detention to seek a warrant. Prolonging your detention is not the same as outright denial of entry. No, I know. I know that. There is one other interesting piece that just came out from friend of the show. Yeah, okay. MSNBC is trying to reach out. Well, they know how to get to me. This was from friend of the show, former colleague of mine, Ken Klippenstein. Feds begin political vetting for American citizens, he writes. This is at kenklippenstein.com. Hasan Piker interrogated at border as Trump's war on free speech intensifies. This is one of the more comprehensive investigative reports on the matter. I talked to Ken extensively to aid him to the best of my ability. He's a national security reporter, for those of you who don't know, has done brilliant work in the field. And this is what he wrote. Hasan Piker, an American citizen, was singled out and interrogated on Sunday at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Piker, who is of Turkish background, was returning to the U.S. after a trip to Paris. For 2 hours, Customs and Border Protection detained him and asked whether he supported Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthi rebels in Yemen, according to Hasan's account. His story, first reported by UserMag, has circulated widely. That's Taylor Lorenz who wrote about it. But it caught my attention because I once worked with Hasan. He's a well-known Twitch streamer and a political commentator, outspoken about the Gaza war and Israel's conduct. The most disturbing part of the Hasan Piker episode, I learned in the course of my reporting, is what the border agents did was completely legal. Homeland Security issued a statement confirming the incident, emphasizing how routine it was. Upon entering the country, this individual is referred to for further inspection, a routine lawful process that occurs daily and can apply to any traveler, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said on X. As outrageous as it sounds, federal authorities have broad power to question and search U.S. citizens at the border without a warrant, probable cause, or even reasonable suspicion. Though the Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable search and seizure, the Supreme Court has recognized the so-called border search exception. This authority applies to anyone located within 100 miles of a land border or coastline, the border zone, which incidentally covers 2/3 of the U.S. population. It's also known by the ACLU as Constitution-free zones. I've talked about this extensively. Constitution-free zones are where also BORTAC gets to operate freely. BORTAC is basically the SWAT team, or the heavily militarized, highly trained, internationally trained version of Customs and Border Patrol. CBP has frequently used these powers since 9/11 to target Muslims, but up until Trump, they very rarely targeted American citizens so overtly for voicing their opinions. As Hasan told me, he had never been targeted before. Now, I told him this as well. I've been questioned, but never to this degree, and never on my opinions of Donald Trump or directional questions about my commentary. How was Hasan selected and why? That part remains a secret. Which federal agency or intelligence service flagged him is unknown. But how they targeted him is known, and its capability is ripe for abuse. Homeland Security operates a system called TEX, not an acronym, which supplements border screening based on input from immigration, law enforcement, and counterterrorism agencies. Any of these agencies, FBI, ICE, CBP, can enter an alert known as a lookout, designating a traveler as a person of interest in an ongoing investigation. This is different than the no-fly list or the terrorism watch list, by the way. That has a much higher standard, but TEX, on the other hand, having a lower standard makes it even more terrifying because it's a broad application. These lookouts can require anything from enhanced screening to full seizure and copying of a traveler's electronics, including contacts and data. Many text lookouts are tied to international flights. Turkey, for example, has been a frequent trigger for enhanced scrutiny, both because it's majority Muslim and a known route for foreign fighters heading to Syria. Text designations are individualized. Someone known to travel to a country like Turkey can be flagged in advance. Piker's travel history alone could have triggered a text alert. He told me he hadn't traveled to Turkey in nearly a decade, but that CBP had asked him if he traveled to other parts of the region. Upon return, travelers are matched against watch list, the no-fly list, and TEX. High-profile targets like filmmaker Laura Poitras and others linked to Edward Snowden or WikiLeaks have also been subject to text-based detentions. Text can also be used for target exploitation, a euphemism for extracting passwords and contact networks through device searches to create link analysis, feeding intelligence databases. Piker told me CBP did not search his electronics and that he would not have allowed it, calling it a red line for him. However, refusal could have led to detention or denial of entry. I think Ken is wrong on this, by the way. As an American citizen, the Customs and Border Patrol, as of this very moment, cannot actually deny someone entry into the United States of America. It is a violation of the 14th Amendment. Doors open. My food is here. In a video recounting his experience, Piker says CBP agents asked, have you ever been in contact with Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis? Have you ever provided financial or logistical support to them? This line of questioning suggests an effort to gather potential evidence of material support for a serious federal crime. But the Trump administration has made it clear it intends to pursue such cases aggressively. White House Director Sebastian Gorka has even suggested that those who oppose Trump's deportation policies could be considered to be aiding and abetting. Piker also said CBP asked, have you ever interviewed a member of Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis? In January 2024, Hasan interviewed Yemeni TikTok influencer Rashid al-Haddad, who calls himself the Pirate King. The internet dubbed him Timothy Chalamet, a play on the actor Timothy Chalamet. The interview very quickly went viral, but not everyone was amused. While Voice of America noted al-Haddad wasn't a member of the Houthis, a U.S. designated organization, it cautioned that he promoted a controversial cause. The Anti-Defamation League claimed Piker's connections were unclear and accused him of spreading Hamas propaganda. There is, of course, nothing illegal about interviewing a member of a group. Journalists do it all the time. What makes text concerning is the secretive nature of the designations. It only takes one agency, based on internal criteria, to flag someone. As I previously reported, Sebastian Gorka is spearheading a new international strategy that includes redefining actions by American citizens as supporting. During a recent congressional hearing, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard stated that the intelligence community has identified foreign funding of pro-Palestinian protests in the U.S. This effort to link Americans to foreign groups is aided by aggressive information sharing between federal government and the private sector, including Twitch, where Hasan is most active. A 2024 GAO report found that the FBI and DHS are already sharing domestic extremism threat intelligence with social media and gaming platforms. An update in early 2025 confirmed these mechanisms are in active use and have been further developed. The Transparency report revealed its second highest enforcement volume ever for propaganda in the wake of the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. Twitch forbids displaying or extremist content even for the purpose of denouncing it. In 2023, Twitch joined the Global Internet Forum to counter. A Twitch employee told me the platform has increased its external engagement, code for threat sharing with the government. Did Twitch flag Hasan's interview, triggering the text alert? There's no way to know. I don't think they did. I don't think they did that. Because if they had done so, they would have banned me already, for the record. Yeah, Ken is correct. They could further prolong your detention to seek a warrant. Prolonging your detention is not the same as outright denial of entry. No, I know. I know that. They can prolong my detention. Yeah, they make it shitty to when you refuse to cooperate. And it could have been any number of other social platforms Piker resides on. Twitch did not immediately respond to my request for comment. Regardless, this kind of harassment is insane and extends Trump's border crackdown to U.S. citizens. I think it was just a threat, Hasan told me. Let it be a warning. Better to not ban you so they can keep tabs on you and pass it along the government? Are you kidding me? Do you know how much external pressure Twitch has received from literally a ton of advocacy groups to try to get me banned? Are you kidding me? It would be infinitely easier for them to just ban me if they were engaging in information sharing with federal agencies. I don't agree. I don't think this is Twitch. Yeah, a American congressperson was goaded into writing a congressional letterhead letter. Breaking news. The Israeli government has agreed to resume humanitarian aid delivery to Palestinians in Gaza. The new Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, said in a statement on Wednesday. Anyway, or maybe they see me wearing my apolitical hat. So, breaking news. The Israeli government has agreed to resume humanitarian aid delivery to Palestinians in Gaza. The new Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, said in a statement on Wednesday. Anyway, or maybe they see me wearing my apolitical hat. So the government is using a pre-existing designation to search function to basically threaten and harass, by my estimation, American citizens that are engaging in the lawful act of exercising their First Amendment rights. That is what's going on. Also, on top of that, I'm not only exercising my First Amendment rights, but I'm exercising my First Amendment rights as a member of the media. So this also goes into press freedom as well. I know we joke about like me not being a journalist or anything like that, but you know, from the way that the federal government looks at these things, that I do have that designation. So it's additionally a violation of press freedoms. Now, material support, as it stands, has been actively massaged by previous administrations, right? Into designating, even like offering legal aid and legal counsel to members of any sort of like militant resistance to potentially be considered material aid. Okay, which is crazy. Like, if you are a lawyer, if you are a literal fucking human rights lawyer, if you're a lawyer for if you're a First Amendment lawyer, ultimately they have tried to turn that into material support. I've of course not done that, and everything that I have said is perfectly constitutionally protected. But the very fact that that in and of itself was a part of the actionable items that they mentioned, like interviewing or having any sort of direct contact with a member of Hamas, Houthis, or anything like that, the very fact that that was also a part of the actionable items that they asked at the end of the interrogation is terrifying. And I think that is a way to trigger a longer detention. Please glaze China more, please. What? This is part of the reason why I am saying, or have said, that slop tubers and all these other fucking dumbasses that make a big fuss from their idiotic position are playing with fire by normalizing this kind of behavior to their audiences and creating controversy where no such controversy should exist, especially when the administration is willing to use seemingly ridiculous things like internet drama when they are working to criminalize certain kinds of actions that previously were not criminalized and constitutionally protected. Anyway, but yeah, here is the reflection from TikTok to this to me explaining this this issue. Regardless of what Asmongold or Ethan Klein or that fucking lolly enjoying anime account says, or what the Keemstars of the world say, or Tectone says, the broad majority's perspective on this is not on their side. So you might feel if you stare too much into the abyss, you might feel as though these fucking goofy ass losers actually are backed by a shit ton of support. But the broader societal reflection on the actions of the Trump administration is actually incredibly critical. Okay, just remember, we sometimes need to pull ourselves out of this space that we occupy. I know it's hard. It's hard to like keep your head above the water and to expand on your perception of certain issues, because the spaces that we occupy are so heavily fucking dominated by people that have these sorts of opinions and their fans that actively brigade every fucking comment section or whatever. But this is still a important reminder. This is still a very important reminder that just because you see a certain type of comment or commentary frequently doesn't mean that it's actually a super popular position. Okay? Anyway, two Israeli officials tell me that there's been no progress in the talks in Doha over the new Gaza hostage and ceasefire deal. One Israeli official said Netanyahu is showing zero flexibility. Unsurprising. And the reason why Netanyahu is showing zero flexibility is because the Trump administration is not actively pushing them to show flexibility, and they have to. That's my assessment. Okay. I wanted to briefly talk about Miss Rachel here as well. Hey, it's me, Hasan. I'm posting from Lolo's account. Fucking this guy, bro. Miss Rachel did an interview with Mehdi Hasan, friend of the show Mehdi Hasan of Zeteo News. And seems to me that you haven't been banned because it's more efficient to keep you surveilled. No, dude. You're not trying to be confrontational, but why aren't you banned already? No. It's the same fucking reason why... Chatter. Don't you find it odd that every mainstream media outlet doesn't have the same inherently antagonistic relationship with someone like myself, and it's almost always Free Press or the Daily Mail or New York Post that ends up writing, the same style, like slop tuber style commentary on my coverage of these issues. Does that not strike you as odd? Perhaps it's because a lot of those people are fucking adults and infinitely more knowledgeable. Even if they have disagreements with some of my commentary, they are just more knowledgeable on the issues and have a better understanding of these issues. Yeah, it's only odd because you're doing the thing that I explained to you. You're doing the thing I just talked about. If you get your notes from online commentary YouTubers that don't know anything, then you are going to find yourself deluded. You are going to go, well, a lot of people say you're a fucking terrorist. Yeah, you know who says that? The ADL, okay? The ADL doesn't even go that far, but like they'll say I'm a dangerous anti-Semite that is doing terrorist propaganda, okay? The ADL no longer has the same institutional muscle that it once did. This doesn't mean that they are powerless. They still have a lot of influence, okay? But the point is, there are obviously a lot more reasonable people in at least the media side, okay, that recognize the nuance in the commentary that I present. That's it. There are plenty of media outlets that in mainstream news, in the liberal side of news, that see all of this shit and go, yeah, okay, this is background noise. This is bullshit. Okay. And there are obviously the same like reasonable contextualization occurs even at the Twitch level. Otherwise, like if they were at the mercy of like online mobs, and sometimes they are, right? Especially on actionable items, especially on items that like go above a certain point in my commentary, like what do you call it? The fucking Rick Scott statement that I made, which I apologize for because it was, hyperbolic language. They will end up issuing a suspension on situations like that. What is this? Look what your haters are bringing to the table. Talk to Hasan the Hun about his 2-hour detention at O'Hare, where he was interrogated about his political views on Trump and Gaza. Check it out on Pod Save America's YouTube channel. Should just rename yourself to Pod Save Hamas. The level of journalistic integrity you are showing here is hilarious. 2-hour detention? Do you bother to even do the most basic level of research? Like, do you think someone like John, who I know personally, right, who is now a political commentator, former Obama speechwriter, do you think he sees something like this and goes, well, this spells sanity. Let me hear what this fucking weirdo has to say. No, like they don't understand. They don't even think about like they don't think about how this kind of behavior looks to normal people. They're so echo chambered. They are so unimaginably echo chambered and so invested in this like personal vendetta that they have completely lost touch with how normal, educated adults, even if they don't fully agree, even if they don't fully subscribe to my worldview, most normal, educated adults can recognize reasonable disagreements in this issue and not become these fucking insane haters. Okay? It's important to see this. It's important to see this. Because I understand sometimes it even impacts me. It impacts my own perception of me, right? From time to time where I'm like, am I this fucking truly awful person, right? Because of the endless sea of hate that I'm inundated with. But going outside and touching grass is truly one of the best ways to quickly realize that no, these people come across as fucking insane. I think you said this once, but people no longer have disagreements on opinion, but on facts. It's more so just a personality issue at this point. People just like, people develop their political worldview off of personalities that they like or personalities that they don't like. They either negatively polarize against personalities that they don't like, or they promote personalities that they do like, and they just like adopt their framework in its entirety. Anyway, I don't like Hasan is not a coherent ideology. Okay? You're just being fucking annoying. No matter how much you try to make up reasons as to why this is a good way to operate, most normal people will go, okay, I don't care. I like them. Hold on, what the fuck? Can you have Miss Rachel on the broadcast? Potentially.